Hello, this is Juste live from CIS26 in St. Lucia. I'm sitting here with His Excellency, St. Juste. How are you today?
I am fantastic. Thank you for having me.
It's been an amazing experience having you and all the other heads here. But tell me, what has been the most memorable part of this experience for you?
I think what I would consider as a long-lasting impression, it was the meeting of the minds in harmony to truly make sure that we demonstrate to the world that the Caribbean is a powerhouse to be dealt with. We have a high degree of intellectual capacity here, the level of talent, the willingness to collaborate, the level of discourse is phenomenal. And I think what I'm taking away here is an element of compadre, collaboration, but even, which is most critical, the ability to engage in tough decisions and dialogue. And I really am happy that I've had the opportunity to participate in some of the panels and meet some of the individuals here.
So tell me, what sets the St. Kitts CBI program apart from all the others in the market right now?
Well, I must start with St. Kitts and Nevis Citizenship Programme was the first. I mean, that alone, and I don't say that in a level of boastfulness. I say it with a level of humility. Because to be 42 years old and still be relevant, not only relevant, but to also be considered as the leading citizenship program, it requires a level of innovation. It requires the ability to collaborate and listen to what is important. And I think one of the clear indications when I took over this program, and it may seem several years, but it's only been 24 months roughly when I took over, was that my goal really was to ensure that this program builds upon three core things: integrity, credibility, and trust. And I think that was key, and we did so many different things in the reforms that we put in place. We did a number of aspects around how we move the program from a government department to a statutory corporation. We then made very deliberate and decisive decision to move it away from a volume-based program to a value-based program.
Yes.
And what that really means is every decision we make is taking into consideration a level of how does the funds impact the lives of our citizens. But even further, how do we ensure that the investors who are part of these programs are worthy to receive and be called Kittitians and divisions of our country, but also our international partners feel confident that these individuals were appropriately vetted and went through a very thorough due diligence. And we've done a number of those changes to ensure that the program remains highest standard of credibility and trust with the level of intense security.
The one thing I could say about St. Kitts and Nevis is that you're not just being reactive right now. You guys are also being proactive before the big brothers come in and, try to make changes.
It's interesting you use the term big brothers and big sisters.
Big sister.
Because we see ourselves as more of a partner, and along with our fellow Caribbean CBI brothers and sisters, we led the charge, and we felt it is important that we go ahead and not just, as you said, we're not going to be reactive. We took bold decisions. We made a significant choice to raise our minimum investment.
Yeah.
Significant, the Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Terence Yu, took a significant political risk to do that, because that involved the reduction of revenues. But he said, I wanted a program to be credible. I wanted a program to be built on an integrity. And yes, there may be a point in time where there may be a reduction in the revenues because we had to make some tough decisions, but sustainability was important. And to your point around being sort of the trailblazer, we've recently launched the National Biometric and Passport Modernization. a historical program where all citizens will now be required to present and provide the biometric. We're starting with our citizens from those who will receive their citizenship under the CBI program, the citizenship program, because those will be the most impacted because they travel a lot. A lot of investors will travel on a day-to-day basis. So we're starting with those citizens, and then we will expand. And what that required is for us to invest in an innovative technology, patented. And we have received the endorsement by the US State Department indicating that it has met the federal, the FBI standards, and even the EU GDPR data protection. And it's an all-in-one technology that is so advanced that we feel confident that it can harmonize the program and really demonstrate that ability in, rather than being reactive, we are stepping forward in the new frontier of what the new era of citizenship is.
Well, I was just about to ask you, how is St. Kitts and Nevis actively shaping the industry for better? There you go. You've already done it.
I think to your point around shaping, and it goes to the core of it. We're not waiting for external pressures.
There you go.
I think that's what everyone assumed. We said, no, we're going to take these bold decisions. We were the first to introduce blockchain technology in due diligence, which what that simply means, the report, it's very difficult. In any sense, it cannot be modified. And to take on those challenges, a small island state, it has to be bold decisions that we wanted to make. We also made some very strategic decisions around making sure that we're leading with the harmonization of the regional regulator, which is actually architect here in St. Lucia, under the Castries agreement.
Yeah.
And St. Kitts really led in making sure that was part of one of the areas as part of our reform. And we wanted to really make sure that we bring everyone along the journey and demonstrate to the world that yes, we are a sovereign nation, but we are one Caribbean family.
Yes, we are. So, last question. What brings you the most optimism about where the industry is headed now?
Using the word optimism in today's high level of scrutiny, high level of concerns that people may have. Look, we understand our international partners has had concerns. And we made it clear that we will listen to their voices. That's the most important. The US brought to us the 6 principles, where they wanted to ensure there's mandatory interviews, there was level of biometric capture. We a denial in one is a denial in all, and even to the extent where we made a very bold decision to indicate that we will not process applicants from Russia or Belarus because of the situation happening there. We then further participated in the Wilton Park London event, January of 2025, where the UK Home Office invited all the regions, and we had a very leading point of indicating that yes, we want to make sure that there's a reduction in any perception of migration or any security risk, where the requirement was to overly enhance the due diligence, the vetting that we do, ensure that you de-risk the program. We run every applicant through a very thorough process. Our financial intelligence unit, our white collar, go to Interpol, our JRCC. And then we also took into consideration the EU's report, the December report, and also the 8 visa suspension report that came in last year. And that has to be considered in the dialogue. And so we have to be very clear, the existence of these programs cannot be conflated with the way they're being managed and conducted. What you see now is very different from what was there 3 years ago.
Yes.
And so we wanted to make sure that our tiny island, our voice is leading the chart, because at the end of the day, and what number of individuals are not realizing, We're in a technologically advanced world. It's no longer where individuals are going to go on their Google or their Yahoo. They're going to AI. And the simple question is, which is the longest and safest and the best citizenship program out there that I can leverage? And who shows up? St. Kitts and Nevis. And we want to make sure that there's a level of trust, not in a simple, but that in this new technological advanced world, that we maintain that level of leading in the front in this new era of citizenship.
Heard it here first. St. Kitts and Nevis in the forefront of the industry right now, and has always been. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you enjoy the rest of your stay here.
I intend to.
Lucia.